Why, hello there. Welcome to this live stream. Let me go ahead and just get my audio levels right. First of all, go ahead and let me know if you can hear me, that you're ready to learn, where you're from. If anyone's here, haven't really done any promotion of this. But I jumped on here live just yesterday and I thought, look, I'm going to try and make this a habit. I haven't been doing many live things on YouTube for a long time. I've actually produced quite a bit of content recently, but not really on a YouTube live. So today, I want to go live, which I am. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about our goals. How sometimes having too many goals will actually stop us. So just so you know, if you're listening to this on the podcast, ultimately you can go ahead and watch me live on YouTube, which is youtube.com/Joseph Clough. Hey Andrew, great to have you in Germany. I hope you are well, my friend. It's great to have you here live. And if anyone else, oh, awesome. You say you've been listening to my videos for the last 3 months. That's the good thing about doing things live. I get to actually communicate with you. And soon in the future, I hope to be able to speak to you in person when I kind of integrate other systems so we can take some live calls. It'd be like a call-in ultimately. I won't be doing those here and there, but I think it's going to be really, really powerful. So once again, if you're listening to the replay of this, go ahead to youtube.com/Joseph Clough and you'll be able to get, make sure also, let me go ahead and just say this, you got to make sure that you hit the subscribe button, the like button, and also the being notified button. So that means you'll be able to tune in as and when I'm actually here. So let's get into today's talk. I'm sure you have some goals and outcomes. We usually have many, but the many will actually hold us back. It will actually cause us to be able to, when you think about it like this, we have 100% of concentration. At any given moment, that's our ability to concentrate. If we have way too many goals, we will actually have to divide that 100% into units based on how many goals or how many outcomes we actually have. And by the way, I always like to say outcomes because outcomes are far more specific and generated, while goals are hit and miss. So I want you to consider how many goals that you may have. You might have financial ones, health ones. You might have expanding and developing your career. You might have different kind of relationship goals. You might just have internal goals. Like, I just want to be so self-certain in myself, just to feel so powerful and fully and deeply confident. But the chances are you're going to have quite a few goals. And if we have too many goals, we're actually going to cause conflict. If you think of those who made big successes in the world, whether it be in businesses, entrepreneurship, I've noticed that they have one ferocious focus. Now, the interesting thing, that ferocious focus can actually achieve many different goals because there's a hierarchy, and that's what I really want to talk about. Because if we take the examples out there who have big goals and dreams and outcomes for humanity or business or whatever it is, they just don't have hundreds of goals. They don't have 10, they don't have 20. They might be there beneath the surface, but there's going to be something bigger than that, almost like an umbrella which catches all of it. So one thing I'd like you to do, let's just say you have many different goals. I want you to notice what feeling those goals would get you. So for each and every one, you might just have 5. Okay, so I've got this one goal to be able to develop and enhance my career, get to become a CEO or to become a director, a manager. That's one of my goals that I have. Now, if you think of that as a goal, think about the feeling it would give you, having achieved it already. So consider what feeling it would give you. Now then take the second goal. Do the exact same process. What feeling would it give you? Take the third, the fourth, the fifth, or how many goals you have. Don't focus on the goal, but focus on the feeling it will actually give you. So notice what that feeling would be. Now the chances are that feeling may be in many of those goals. So then the goal becomes not the thing, but the feeling we desire from the thing. What do we want from that relationship? What do we want from that promotion? What do we want from earning from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month, or $50,000 a month, or whatever your goal is? Focus not on the outcome or goal, but the feeling behind the goal. And if you have a collection of feelings, and the chances are, like I said, they're going to be very similar or the exact same feeling, your job is to feel that feeling and act upon that feeling, because not only will you achieve those goals because you'll be energetic in alignment with each one of those goals, because you'll be operating from it, therefore your mind's going to be looking for everything similar to that, but you're not going to be focused on the lack of the goal. So if I were you, I'd be focusing on the higher goal. Where's the purpose? Where's the mission? Where's the ambition? Because you need that to achieve those things. So make sure, if you have goals in mind and you have too many, you just feel like you're dividing up your time between this goal and that goal and this one and this one and that one and this one and this one, you're going to get into a state of overwhelm. But if you just go beyond that goal and focus on the higher intention or the higher purpose of that goal, and notice the qualities of that goal, notice the feelings of that goal, and then you begin to assume that feeling. And I've said this many, many times, you assume the feeling, the wish fulfilled, and act upon it with conviction, and therefore you're deeply in alignment with your desires, which comes from Neville Goddard. So notice those feelings. What are the feelings? Because at the end of the day, you don't want the thing, you want the thing, or you want the feeling of what that thing will give you. So maybe it's freedom, maybe it's love, maybe it's wholeness, maybe it's purpose, passion, whatever it is. Focus on the feeling, because when you do, you become aligned with your desires. And in my opinion, if I take my own advice here, and I've been wrong with this so many times, and when I go against it, things just don't work out, or it takes a ton of time and stress to get to where I want to be. When I first started out doing my podcast, and I don't know how long ago it was, like 10 years ago or so, I just focused on giving. I focused on just creation. Why? Because I love the idea of helping people. That electrified me with passion. So it made a good energetic fit to create podcasts. And now we're into almost 500. I think we're one or two, well, if we use this one, if I put it on the podcast, we'll be at 499, I think. And then the next one will be 500. Now, obviously those take a lot of time to create, lots of editing, putting it out there, even expense. But you know what is so exciting for me? I'm so passionate about helping people. I love hearing from people. I love to be able to hopefully make an impact. I'm not going to resonate with everyone. I'm at peace with that. But there are going to be people who will enjoy what I create. So rather than just focusing on generating the podcast, I focus on the feeling it gave me every single time, at the thought of helping someone. Just being so curious about how can I make an impact today? And what was that feeling? And then I focused on that feeling. And not only did I do the podcast because of that, the episode, but it put me in that energetic state of feeling electrified, but I actually felt better working with my clients. I felt better in my health, my relationships, my career, all of those things. Because I was focusing on the feeling of what the outcome would get me rather than the thing itself. And at other times when things go wrong, I just spread my energy, my mental capacity way too thin. I gotta focus on Facebook, I gotta focus on Twitter, get it onto this platform, that platform, I gotta do this product, this thing. And then you get into overwhelm, you get into self-sabotage, and then you start to go, look, I just can't deal with this. So the singular goal is gonna be the most efficient goal. And if you can't put it into a singular goal because you have multiple goals, at least focus on the feelings of what those goals would give you. That, to me, is powerful. That is going to get you the results. And thank you ever so much, Andrew. You just said you've certainly have had a positive impact for me. Keep it up. I definitely will do. You see, now I'm excited by that. Now, well, how can I help Andrew further? In fact, Andrew, if there's anything that you want to be able to be achieving right now, if you think about any kind of goals and outcomes you want, I'll go ahead and support you. Let me know and I'll hopefully be able to answer that question or give you at least a nudge in the right direction to achieve what you desire and what I'll absolutely say deserve, because you are deserving of this. It's your birthright to feel exactly how you want to feel. Where it be abundance, where it be to, like I said, career, whatever it is, you have the right to have that. But just doubts and worries and fears, anxieties get in the way. So we got to think about minimizing our multitude or multiples of the things that we want, because that's going to self-sabotage us. And let's just say the goals are different, like they're totally polar opposite. Well, be at peace, but maybe that goal comes later. It's okay. For example, if I focus my intensity, when I get into that ferocious focus of success, when it comes to making impact in the world, like through the podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, through my clients, my program, and all those things, some aspects of my life are going to have to be on the back seat. And that's okay. Some things you might have to give up. You might have to give up YouTube. You might have to give up Netflix. You might have to give up socializing at certain times to get exactly what you want. So if you think about it like this, if your goals are totally polar opposite, in other words, they don't really match, which one is going to make the biggest impact first? Which actually may help you get the second and then the third and the fourth. So if then you're putting those goals in a hierarchy of success, a hierarchy of what I actually should say most important or most impactful on the other goals. That's what we got to be focusing on. So focus on the hierarchy of the goal if they are very, very different. Go all in on that, the most important one, or the one that's going to have a knock-on effect on all the others. Go all in on that one. Get that goal, and now you've freed up that emotional and mental capacity to focus on number two. And then go all through that. You got 100% energy onto that second one now, and then once that's done, you then go into the third one. And then you go on. But if you attack all of those goals at once, you're going to get there slowly, or you're going to self-sabotage, and you're not going to really feel good about it. So the two things we've learned right now, it's not about the outcome, it's about the feeling the outcome will give you and to focus upon that. That's going to be the best energetic match to getting what you want and the things that you didn't know you wanted. Number two, if you have many goals, it's okay to put them on the back burner. You may have to lose out on something right now to get what you really want. You might have to give up some things to get what you really want. You might have to let go of that one goal for a moment to be able to get the big goal. Once you get that, you free up to 100% capacity and go all in on that second one. Now, Andrew actually has a question, so I'd love to answer that. He says, what's the best way to prepare for hypnosis? Seems like I'm mentally wondering in the initial 10 to 15 minutes. That is a great question. I think everyone, so thank you, Andrew. Here's a great thing about this. And my example of why that's a great question, or why questions are good. Like within my paid program, we have group coaching calls, and other people will have questions you didn't know you had, or you're scared to ask. So Andrew proposing that question means, Andrew, you're now going to help many, many people because of that. Because one, they wanted that question answered, or two, they didn't know they had that question, but now it can be answered. So what's the best way to prepare for hypnosis? Seems like I'm mentally wandering in the initial 10-15 minutes. I'm going to start with the second aspect of the seems like I'm mentally wandering in the first 10 to 15 minutes. That's fine. Hypnosis is going to cause you to drift and dream. It's going to cause you to wander and then come back. It could be every few minutes, it could be every 10 minutes. So first of all, I want you to know, Andrew, that when you go into a hypnotic state, your focus, we're talking about focus, but your focus in this case will start to generalize and wander to many different things. Number one, you're probably in a sitting or laying down position. You're relaxed, hopefully. I mean, the hypnotic voice or the hypnotic music is there to definitely relax, so you are going to drift and dream there. So that's number one. You will actually drift and dream and go in and out. And it's okay, because we're not working on the conscious level, we're working on the unconscious level. Yes, I want you to have the conscious attention at times, because that can be important. It's good to get the conscious insights, but it's going to be very hard to hold that conscious awareness because of the nature of hypnosis. But here's the other aspect I want you to know. What's the best way to prepare for hypnosis? That's a really good question. So before you start to listen to any of my tracks or other people's tracks, there's many ones out there, you've got to ask right questions, the right question, and more importantly, have the right intention. So, I would be asking this question to myself. I'd be saying something like this. Speaking to my unconscious mind, we're going to go into a hypnotic state. We're going to go and listen to Joseph's hypnosis track. And this is what I really want to happen. I want to get out, go into trance in the most deepest or lightest state possible to yield the biggest results. And I'll repeat a bit of this as well. To get the biggest or yield the biggest results that will allow me to live the life I want or to get my outcome whilst being safer than ever before. And I say that last, safer than ever before, because your unconscious mind will be running the issue as a protective mechanism. I know that for a fact. Everything has a positive intention, and it usually comes down to safety and protection. So before the hypnosis session, I'd be going, look, speaking to my unconscious mind, you can always say, by the way, speaking to my unconscious mind, I love you so much, and we're about to go into this hypnotic transformation, and this is what I want, and the good news is it's going to allow us to be safer than ever before, so give me that undeniable experience. So the intention there is all geared up to transformation. Transformation via safety and an undeniable experience. So those sentences had actually hypnotic commands within them. They were outcome generated, they were intentionally generated via protection, and also results generated by having an undeniable experience. Just saying something like that, and you can always rewind once this is done and so on, write it down, that's going to be very powerful as preparation. Because it comes down to intention and your desire. So really decide and declare that I want to get the biggest results possible. And that's going to be the best thing. And as I said, mentally wandering in the initial 10-15 minutes is actually natural. It's going to be hard to pay attention due to the nature of the music, the voice, the hypnotic language is actually trying to get that to happen to a degree. Because your consciousness has to go sometimes. Here's an example. The conscious mind can be very rigid. And sometimes you've just got to get out your own way. So therefore, we remove the conscious mind to a degree, although you're always there, but you're drifting and dreaming. So then my suggestions, which are geared to becoming safer and happier, or to whatever the outcome you're listening to when it comes to the track, it's going to be really, really profound. So removing yourself slightly is going to be able to go a little bit deeper into your unconscious mind. So I hope that answered your question, Andrew. And once again, for everyone else, listen to the replay, go to youtube.com/Joseph Clough, and you'll be able to sign up and ultimately like, subscribe, and hit that bell. That's the main thing, so you actually get notified. So once again, thank you ever so much, Andrew. That was a great one. Okay, so for some reason I can't get rid of this. There we go. I'm gonna try this. There we go. Okay, so we've got another comment here. Oh, you're more than welcome, Andrew. I really appreciate it because that question is actually going to help many other people. Okay, so we got one right here. This from Emily. Says, you're not alone with that, Andrew. See, already that's the difference that someone can make by asking questions. Questions create curiosity. And Emily also says, I've been listening to him for years. If it wasn't for the guided meditation, I would have a major squirrel moments at times. LOL. Oh, thank you ever so much, Emily. I really appreciate that. And hopefully Andrew's question is going to be helpful to you when you have that right intention there. So if you have any other questions, feel free to go ahead and let me know. And once again, as just to cover what I was saying, is that most of the time we have many different goals and outcomes, and that's actually going to cause a spanner in the works. It's going to cause us to divide our attention way too much. We only have 100%, or let's just say we had 100% of attention at any given moment. And let alone with the world, our attention's going elsewhere, so let alone having multiple goals is going to be an issue. So focus on the feeling of the outcome, having achieved the outcome. Assume that feeling, act upon it with conviction. You'll be aligned with your outcome while simultaneously being aligned with everything else which has the exact same resonance or the same kind of qualities or feelings of the outcome. Number two, if you do have polar opposite goals, be at peace. That's okay to be able to focus on one goal at a time. Go, and here's another thing I didn't mention, go for the goal which is going to make the biggest impact is really, really good. Because that then removes a lot of energy to go to the second, to the third, to the fourth. But let's just say as a little disclaimer, let's just say the number one goal was so big you got a little bit daunted because you have lots of different goals to focus on. Maybe you need to get some quick wins in. Go for the goal that you can just get in the next week, the next 7 days, to free up that time to then hit that big goal. Because number one, you're getting a quick win under your belt, freeing up more energy, number two, to then refocus on the big goal and outcome. So that's what I definitely suggest as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Now, two things I want to say. Okay, got another question right here. So this from Andrew again. So, where do you broadcast from, and and when are you live? So I broadcast from my home. I built a little studio. I even created all the sound absorptions myself. I became a bit of a carpenter having to do that. But I actually specifically, it's in San Diego, California. I've been here for around 7 years in America. I did 2 years or so in Austin. Before that, I grew up mostly in England, or all in England, and I was in Cambridge mostly, but I did a couple of years in Liverpool as well, which is like the northwest of England. But that's where I presently reside, in San Diego, California, the northern part of San Diego. When do I go live? That is a really good question. I really don't know. I'm going to probably come up with a schedule, a couple of flexible times or certain different kind of times on different days so people know. I just got into going to lives yesterday. So this is my second one on a Monday. So great question. I will go ahead and look to come up with a schedule though, so people are aware when I'm going to go live. The good thing is if you go on YouTube, I do give a good 10-minute countdown on the videos, so you have a bit of time if you are notified, if you are subscribed, and so on. Now, a couple of other things I just want to say, 2 things. Firstly, this is actually really cool. I've never done this before, but we are actually doing a financial, or it's more abundance. An abundance 3-day, like long weekend online summit. Myself, I'm going to be teaching there on abundance principles. And also we go into the body with Melissa. We also go into the spirit with Alyssa Melhorn, who is a fantastic person as well. So the 3 of us are doing a 3-day abundance summit where you get the mind, body, spirit of transformation to be more abundant. It is more geared to the financial abundance, but yeah, it's going to have an impact on everything else that you do as well. So if you want to look into that, I mean, the investment is pretty, I'd say really, really affordable at $97 for 3 whole days. I think that's pretty awesome. Divide that up, it's like $33 per day. And that's pretty amazing to be able to gain more abundance in your life. Now, to get that, all you've got to do is go to abundancesummit.live. So abundancesummit.live, which is LIVE, just so you're aware, abundancesummit.live, and you'll find all the information right there. And you can actually go on there. We'll be doing it through Zoom, but we're going to do it in a very cool, magical way. And it's going to be really, really epic to be able to come from the different angles of the mind, body, and spirit. I'm doing the mind stuff, of course. I've been doing that for 19 years now, 18, 19 years, and it's going to be really, really profound. So abundancesummit.live is going to be the best place to go, and I please hope I got the URL right there. Number 2, of course, this is only for people who really, really, really are committed and decisive and really ready to transform their life. You can actually go to josephclough.info/go. It is an application to join my program, to let go of the inner critic, to let go of the imposter syndrome, to let go of the limiting beliefs, which is stopping you in your professional life. So this is for people who want to up-level their career or business. Okay, so that's really, really important. It's not just for a fearophobia, it's a specifically designed program which comes from a custom aspect. Right now we're doing custom hypnosis sessions. So in other words, you get your name, your desires on the hypnosis track. It takes me 3 to 4 weeks to create. It also goes into group coaching, one-to-one sessions, the real powerful rapid emotional release protocol that I created is going to be really, really good, but it's not for everyone. I honestly say that you got to be committed, you got to be decisive, and it's application. You can't just get it online. We have to go it through a review, make sure that you're a good fit, and to see if we can actually get the result. If you know me, I'm ferociously focused on the results and impact, and that program is very, very customized. We only take on a few people every single month, only a few. It's that small. But with that, my wonderful friends, I hope you enjoyed this live YouTube. Always go ahead and get onto the YouTube at youtube.com/josephclough. And you'll be able to subscribe, like, and hit the bell to be able to do that. And with that, I just wish you the most wonderful rest of the morning, evening, where it is for me, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And just know you have everything within you. You have everything within you. And I was just thinking that's what I wrote in my book, Be Your Potential, that you have everything within you. And I really believe that to be true. You have everything you need. And it's a matter of just finding the right key to unlock it all. Okay, so that's the real important thing. You have everything you need. You're not broken, in other words. Your unconscious mind can just be a little bit confused or programmed to have an issue of some sort. But it can be undone. You can go back into wholeness. You can get into that success. You can get into that self-certainty, that self-worth, knowing you're capable, good enough, worthy, deserving, all of that stuff. It is totally possible, and I think it's your right to have it. It's just experience has got in the way. We just got to undo it and transform it in every single way. And thank you ever so much, Andrew. Said I really appreciate this live experience, and I appreciate you and the questions that you asked, because that actually did help many people. And if we put this on the podcast, it's going to help thousands within a month. Absolutely, at least 3,000 or 4,000 people would have listened to this if we put it on the podcast. So thank you for that question. So with that, I will leave all the potentiality within you to make that change, and I look forward to speaking to you on a future live, or if you're listening to the replay, on a future podcast episode. Many thanks and goodbye.